My name is Vibeke Harrington. My son was born with a heart condition. He had a bypass surgery at 3 days old, and another one at 18 months old, and an open heart surgery at 5.
My name is Chris, and I'm a third-generation stevedore. Growing up, never knew what a stevedore was. Actually thought it was named after my father, whose name is Steve.
So my name is Adrienne Harrington. I was born and raised in Charlotte, and I moved to Wilmington when I was 23.
It was the most beautiful day of my life, but also the most scary day of my life. It still hurts 38 years later. It was, I'm from Norway, so I didn't have any family here. I was only 24 years old. My husband was 21. And actually the doctor, while I was pregnant, was telling me that this baby had a very strong heartbeat. And nobody knew that he was going to be born with a heart condition.
When Christopher was born, we were blessed to be living in a college town because he was immediately taken to a university teaching hospital, where there they performed what was called a Blalock shunt. This was done at 3 days old, and literally what we were doing was buying time.
But it was tough. I mean, I moved into the hospital and laid on the floor and stayed there 24/7 and was a wreck. And the days we had to be home, we had to just breastfeed in the bottles, take the little container with us down to the hospital next morning because he couldn't be breastfed because he was connected in the bed with all kinds of stuff. It was just incredibly scary.
We did that at 3 days old, and then we did a second one in the same university hospital at 11 months old. Christopher was fairly healthy for the next 4 years, but was constantly monitored because of his oxygen blood content.
The first time it did affect me was when I was in boarding school. I had a heart arrhythmia. Didn't know what that was. All I know is I went to sleep, couldn't figure out why I was so excited. Went to the doctor, come to find out, I was beating around 200 beats per minute.
And I was up at the mall in Miami and he was in Virginia. And they called from school and said he was put in the hospital because of his heart. I was ready to drive from the mall and go right and drive to Virginia.
So therefore I went to the hospital where they basically stopped the heart, restarted it, get it all calibrated back.
And I got to school and he was sitting outside waiting for me. He was out of the hospital already. He had a big scare, but he was fine.
I actually met her through her boyfriend, who I was trained to work for me.
True story.
True story.
I was wearing flip-flops and he told me I had pretty feet.
And then we got married 11/12/11.
Yeah.
We have 2 awesome boys, Miles and Tyson. Tyson, who's the older one, he'll probably be like an accountant with a nice little house, picket fence. Miles will probably be traveling the country in a van, and we'll see him when he needs money and crash on our couch.
Now, when we hear the stories about, the babies that are born with heart problems or really any medical condition, that is something that Chris and I, definitely identify with. It's a soft spot in our heart.
I began working for a company called Ports America, an outstanding company. This year, I got a phone call from our president who's so excited about our efforts with the American Heart Association that they've doubled their efforts. And it's just really, really, really great to work for a company that is just as passionate about giving back to the community as we are.
What's ironic is we had a friend of ours just recently had a child in Miami, and that child had the same surgery that Chris had at 5. That child had the same surgery the very next day after he was born. So it's important to understand how the technology of how they treat children has advanced that much in 38 years. And that's why it's important to donate to the American Heart Association and to keep giving, because the advancements are incredible.
38 years later, I'm sure it's so advanced and it's so great to have this foundation that people can give money to, and we can even get further with this, because no mother want to go through this. Never. Ever.